we are going to do teammate wars. The first running of the Tired F1 pod, teammate wars. Okay, next up we've got McLaren. Last year, Lando finished sixth in the championship, and Oscar Piastri in his rookie season, the pride of Melbourne, come on, um, finished up ninth. And the qualifying head-to-head was 15-7 in Lando's favor. We're going to see a repeat this season, or do you think the tables will be turned?
I'm going to take a slightly unconventional position here and see what you think about it. I think that this will be Oscar's year. I think
Ooh.
that he has shown glimpses, flashes of being excellent. I mean, I think back to the Qatar sprint, and he's been in there, even at Silverstone, right? When they were actually competing with Max. I think that was an interesting race as well. I feel like this is going to be his year. I feel like this is the year where he's really gonna show everything that he has been. We kind of forget all the controversy that was a couple years ago, right? With him and Alpine and everything. And I think that there's a reason McLaren really wanted him. And while Lando has, signed the extension, he's gonna be there. There are some question marks around Oscar and whether a move might be on the cards in the future. But I think all of that plays into him really just being better than Lando this year. And I know that's not the conventional take, but there you go. I have Oscar beating Lando.
That's interesting. I am, hold on. I so I think that I probably agree with you on certain aspects of that. Certain aspects of that. Lando's a really, really interesting case study because I think his problem is that he hasn't won a race. He's been close to it on a couple of occasions now. And I think he's the driver that if he wins a race, it will open the floodgates for him. But for a variety of reasons, either it's been the car's not been there or circumstances have gone against him. I think of
Right.
the Russian Grand Prix in 2021,
Yep.
Silverstone last year. There's a few areas where you think, okay, if he had been in a different place at a different time, things would have worked out for him. But that's got to bear down on you at some point. You kind of have to wonder if um the weight of expectation, both from externally and internally, will make it more difficult for him to get that first win and then open the floodgates. But he's certainly got the ability, hasn't he? He's certainly got the pace. He's been able to drive a difficult, recalcitrant McLaren for the last few seasons and get results out of it. And last year, when the car started to come good, he came really good. The problem for him, though, is that Oscar did too. So Oscar started the season not great when the car wasn't great, but as the car got better, Oscar got better too, to the point where he was the one that won the sprint race,
Mhm.
right? And it was Lando that was called off in the feature race in the end, wasn't he? In the Grand Prix on the Sunday, it was Lando that was told to hold position. Um, Oscar's big problem last year is a I think a perennial rookie issue,
Mhm.
which is that they don't have the experience yet to do the long runs, to manage the tires, to really understand what the Pirellis need. And it's something that rookies in this era of Formula One are going to struggle with. We've had these tires now for 13 years, and they're difficult. And that's why we prize the guys that can really work them well, the Verstappens and the Hamiltons of this world. And Norris has been really good at it too. I just think Piastri wasn't last season. But then you look at the long run pace in FP2 again. I know this doesn't really mean anything, but the top three were Verstappen, Perez, and then Piastri.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's
And
pretty impressive because he will have worked on that over the course of the winter. And if he's done that and up that part of his game, then sure, he's still only in his sophomore year. Is that the right term? I'm not
yeah,
American.
that's I mean you blown me away with that term, but
Amazing,
sure.
amazing, amazing. Thanks. I'll take that. Um, he still has a big experience gap to Norris, but he's shown in the junior categories that he's quick to learn, keeps a level head, and isn't prone to big mistakes,
Mm.
which Lando certainly was last season. When Oscar started to challenge him, there were more mistakes. So it'll be interesting to see which way that goes. Do I think that Oscar therefore has enough to beat Lando over the course of a season? I don't know. I'm gonna say Ammar. I'm gonna say tentatively yes, because I'm with you. I I like Lando, um, but I feel sometimes there's a temperament issue that Oscar will have the edge on him over, and I think that will show this season when the experience gap has been narrowed a little bit.
I think so. And again, if you think about Lando's career, he has not been pushed quite this way before, right? As he did last year with, again, with the way Oscar came into the team, the context matters, right? And this game is as much about on track as it is psychology as well, right? So that definitely has to be a part of it. And I agree with you. I think the gap, and for me, I don't know if this is a perception thing only, but the gap between the two drivers at McLaren doesn't feel that big to me. And I think
Mm.
you're probably right. That lack of a race win, that signature win that, hasn't come, partly due to luck in some cases and partly due to, his error, team's error. Like there's been a mix of everything, right? It probably sticks out a little bit. And I really think that this year is more crucial for Lando than anyone else on the grid. I would say, even with the driver openings, because he has made this commitment to McLaren, and he was the first one really to make that commitment, right? He was the first sort of quote unquote domino, if you will, of the silly season. But he has made the commitment so far out in advance that he really needs to make it work with the team. Otherwise, it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. But I'm with you. I mean, that driver pairing is amazing. It
Yeah.
really is.
Okay, so there we go. We think it's going to be tight, but Oscar Piastri pips it. Come back at the end of the season if we got that one right. We'll definitely have to revisit that.
Bonus points for getting it correct.
Let's go.